Hello,
In
hello.
intro time, intro time. We are in an intro song. This is what you call
Oh,
an intro song. There it is. That's my intro. I'm never gonna repeat it again. I'm
for a
just gonna.
second, I thought you were gonna have me do the intro again. I got confused.
No. Hold on. I gotta do it again just so I can just copy paste onto other podcasts.
Nice. There you go.
Intro time. Intro time. We are in an intro song. This is what you call an intro song. There it is. Never do it again. Not repeating it. Anyways, welcome back. So I didn't actually have a whole lot of plans for this podcast until literally about 3 to 4 days ago when every single idea for podcasts just started like going back and forth. I'm like, okay, cool. Great timing.
Just like it was pretty much the newsreels that just keep on like giving. You're like new element to the story, new element to the story, new element. It's like, oh, Jesus. All right.
Yeah, it's honestly crazy what it was pretty much dead quiet for everything until about 3 to 4 days ago. All of a sudden you have a lot of discourse on Twitter about Andor and also Strange World, which bombed at the box office. And then literally earlier today with the Super Mario trailer. So, but you know what? I guess before we get into like all the things that piss us off, I guess we'll start with the Mario trailer because that's like the only good thing that came out. Everything else was just like kind of shit.
That made me happy. We'll buy some time before I put my tinfoil hat on again.
Oh yeah, we're gonna buy some time, yeah. But yeah. So the Mario trailer, I don't even know if Illumination's like taking full control of this. I'm pretty sure like Miyamoto is just staring down every single crew member like a hawk, making sure they don't fuck it up. Because
it's definitely like they gave him the threat of the Nintendo ninjas, really.
Exactly. They just got fucking red dots at all the heads. Cause like when you look at the new trailer that came out and the last trailer, it doesn't feel like Illumination made it cause it's actually a good trailer. It doesn't have like 3 to 4 fight humor jokes and it's not just a compilation of all the jokes. Like it's actually like a good trailer with good pacing and
like good meme references too. They even had the Luigi like super nut meme reference. And I gotta put this out of the way right now. Am I the only one that was catching the tension between Bowser?
Everyone
and Luigi?
caught the tension. Everybody caught the sexual tension. Everyone's
good.
joking about. Everybody jokes about Peach and Bowser now that they actually posted like images of the height difference. But bro, Luigi and Bowser though.
Which, by the way, I have another tinfoil hat theory about.
Oh dear God!
Bowser. I haven't. It's game related though, so I don't know if you'll let me go off on that tangent.
I mean, we can, but I think we should actually talk about like the actual trailer first.
All right, yeah, let's hit the trailer. Let's hit it.
And like, it's actually like a good trailer. Like it doesn't like overfill itself for jokes. It doesn't like expose everything, but it also doesn't like. It leaves a lot of wiggle room for what to expect, but it builds up the hype so much where you already sold from that trailer.
Yeah, like I'm expecting. I went over this a little bit with some just like talking about the trailer. I'm expecting the story to kind of. What I hope with like Nintendo breathing down their neck is that they don't do the obligatory third act big sad moment where the characters split apart because they've done something that's like, oh no. So it's like Mario just wants to get Luigi back and doesn't care about the Mushroom Kingdom or whatever.
Or Mario loses his superpowers and then gets trapped in a containment chamber but comes back in the climax and holy fuck, I am so mad about Black Adam.
Oh my God.
Look, man, I'm tired of
happy points. I thought it was supposed to be positive.
Look,
man.
Every time I hear the word third act, I get triggered now because of Black Adam. I blame Black Adam for hating third acts now.
You can't watch our last podcast then. I say it so much.
Oh dear God, that's
so
true.
Much in the
That's
Spider-Man
true.
one.
That's true. Anyways, yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I hope they avoid the obligatory big sad separation, only for them to come back later at like the moment where they're all feeling down. I hope we avoid that because that's never really been what like Mario is. Mario is very straightforward. It's someone's kidnapped or there's something going on. Mario goes out to stop it, and there doesn't need to be there doesn't need to be a huge character arc or anything for Mario. One of those static characters that just works as being static, and it's pretty great. And
yeah,
like what I kind of hope they do is they actually have the character arc for Luigi instead, because it looks like they're dialing up the damsel in distress for Luigi, which honestly, 10
yes,
out of 10,
yes.
10 out of 10 choice.
Charlie
I love
Day
it.
cannot miss as the damsel in distress.
Okay, I'm gonna put this out there because I think this is another piece of evidence. I think the fact that people aren't nearly as pissed off about Charlie Day not having the accent is further proof that people just really hate Chris Pratt.
Yeah, you know what? That's understandable. You know what? I kind of don't like Chris Pratt either. I think he works in like live action more than animated. I don't know what it is. I think when it comes to like animated stuff, he kind of oversells his expressions where it
He's
comes
very
off as
enthusiastic.
and
He's
and
not
that's
a
like
bad voice actor. He does it.
yeah, he does. It's just that when you do it when you don't tone down that enthusiasm for every single role you do, it can come off as annoying, which I can understand like why people are a little like tired of him, which I still think I still think he's good. He's not bad. It's just
I think he's just getting typecast for the animated roles.
yeah, pretty
Like
much.
he very much has kind of been in that Andy Dwyer like role for a while, and then when he goes out of it into other characters, I mean, like the Tomorrow War is like the only movie I know I can point to of like this is Chris Pratt doing like a serious role. He's not like a goofball that's pointing out jokes. He's playing a character that's just different
Right.
for him, and it's a nice change of pace, and I think that's what he gets stuck in for a lot of the animated roles. Because like look at his first voice acting animated role was the Lego Movie, and that was like fresh for him. That was perfectly in his wheelhouse, and he did that really good.
Yeah.
And then I think well, I'm gonna say this right now. I liked oh god, I'm trying to remember the name now. Anyway, but Onward. That's right. I keep remembering the name of the song in there because I keep thinking it's Magic song. But Onward, I really liked, and I think that
Onward I'm very mixed about, but I think like personally speaking, like Jack Black could have been better. Like I think if Jack Black replaced Chris Pratt, it would have been better.
I think so as well. I think that was a role that was very like they clearly crafted it for someone to fit that kind of over the top older brother kind of Poe energy for it. And it was kind of perfectly crafted of like this is a sincere goofball, and that is right in Chris Pratt's wheelhouse because that's pretty much what Andy Dwyer was in Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
and it really worked for the movie, and so that's that I think he just keeps getting typecast. And this version of Mario doesn't look to be like a goofball or anything. He's just
kind of like clumsy, like a fumbling dope.
It's like understandable though, because he's in a completely new area, so it's like he's not gonna have shit put together. He's a plumber.
Unless you're like Geeks and Gamer, who's like, this is completely woke because Pete is a badass while Mario's a fumbling idiot. Even though Mario's always a fumbling idiot.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, this man has not seen the Smash Bros. Tier list. Like this man has been out of the gaming zeitgeist. You got to change your name from Geeks and Gamers because you are not a gamer, bro.
I don't think
sorry.
I wouldn't even classify him as a geek.
He fits the stereotype of geek.
Yeah, that's fair. He's just and
like he's just and exactly. But yeah, like I saw that and it was so funny to just see everyone go, "Oh man, yeah, she's never been like this. She's never been playable before or been one of the front runners in Super Mario 2 to play as, or in Paper Mario or in all of these other Mario games that literally has her playing as a badass anyway, and is a playable character. Like, my guy, you have no legs to stand on here.
Yeah.
Just run and hide. Like,
yeah. Like I'm not even like that familiar with the Mario franchise. I've only played like a couple of Mario games here and there, but even I know that Peach isn't like always a damsel in distress. Like from what I've seen.
No, well, so okay, this hits my tinfoil hat for the games.
Oh dear God!
This hits
all
my
right,
tinfoil hat.
go on,
right,
go on.
right.
I guess we're getting into this early now.
All right. So, Peach and Bowser. All right. It is a scheme, okay? Scheme. They are doing it.
It's a fucking
jobs.
pyramid scheme.
They are doing it to get jobs because I'm gonna tell you right now, Bowser, when he comes over to kidnap Peach, doesn't destroy anything. He just comes in, grabs her, and then flies away. It's Mario that is the one that breaks shit.
Wait, no, don't, stop.
I'm telling you right now.
Stop.
He comes in, like, he doesn't do anything. Bowser just comes in, grabs it, and he's like, all right, I'm out. Peach's kidnapping creates jobs for both the Mushroom Kingdom and Koopa Kingdom. Change my mind. Bowser comes in, doesn't destroy anything, goes away. Mario comes in and screws things up. Bowser flies over all of the other different worlds. He doesn't have to intrude on their property. He doesn't drag them into anything. Mario is the one that runs through it all and kills a bunch of people to try and get the princess back. Come on.
So is Bowser the one, like, being paid to repair everything, or?
Yeah, exactly. So, Bowser's... Oh, hi. My cat just decided to jump up.
It's okay. The cat can join stream.
Yeah, he can't. Well, we'll see if he's vocal. Right now he's decided to dig his claws in, saying, "No, I'm in the middle of my tinfoil hat." But yeah. So Bowser always causes little to no property damage. He just flies in, steals Peach, and then goes away. He does his thing. And I tell you right now, it is like Peach is so used to it at this point that she's like, might as well make it work. Like, you know. Bowser comes in. I'm here to kidnap you. It's like, all right, well, did you fix the Wi-Fi over there? Like, well, that's a problem then. Like, come on. She does it every time. It's for real. It's on purpose.
Okay, now what about the times where like he absolutely obliterates the Mushroom Kingdom, like in I think it was the start of like Super Mario Galaxy.
That's at the beginning of the timeline. That was
the beginning of the timeline.
That was before that they figured out.
Oh dear God!
I told you it was tinfoil hat.
All right, I'm gonna pull the rug on that because we're getting a little too deep into the iceberg right here.
That's like in Sunshine. They say Bowser says she's not really your mother, but can we really trust him? Is he just trying to like?
Oh make sure my God!
He's just trying to make sure that Bowser Jr. doesn't expose it because it's a scandal. Like. It's a scandal right there.
Can I pull the rug on this operation? Can I just like hit the big red button? Can I hit the self-destruct button on this before we get too deep? Are you trying to
stop a conspiracy theorist right now? It's impossible. I have gone.
Okay. Anyways, before we get too deep, because I know you have another tinfoil hat moment later on.
This one has a bit more grounds. It's less tinfoil.
Okay. But anyways, while we continue, I guess we should also talk about like just Bowser in general, how he's actually kind of fucking a badass. Like he legit. I don't know. I don't remember him like actually being able to slap people and avoid a space and time with like what we did with Luigi, but. That's fucking cool that he can do that. Yeah, I like that.
I think that might be from like the wizard dude or something. I don't know.
He might be. It might be.
What I find really fun about this is that it looks like my original theory was that Mario and Luigi are just going to be two guys from like New Donk City that just get pulled into the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly what it happens because you can see like actually in there's like a little clip of them like walking in like a realistic world, so it's like this is like New York or something.
Yeah, which like I like that. That's fun, and that like that gives more. I kind of like the idea too that Mario, his noises of the the wahoo and all that, like
Woohoo!
that's where the Italian
Yeah,
end quote
that's
comes
where you
from.
actually start to get effort with the iconic voice lines, which I'm okay with. Like that's actually pretty cool. And
Well, like
he also
I wouldn't say Chris Pratt isn't putting in effort because he is giving the like in the new trailer. It's a lot more. I saw a bunch of people getting upset about the "Let's A Go," and I was like, guys,
Let's It Go actually sounded good.
I was like,
that was
this is
okay.
not like something to get upset about because he's hyping himself up. It seems
Yeah.
like at this point he's not confident. And then at the end we'll hear around the same. It'll be more of like a, oh, okay, we built to this rather than just a haha,
Yeah.
see, he did the thing.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, it's kind of weird how like we actually have two good trailers, both from Illumination. It's fucking insane. I know, crazy. Absolutely never believed it, but it's insane how we have like both two good trailers, like legitimately good trailers, but the only thing that people are talking about are how good Jack Black is, which, let's be honest, Jack Black's fucking amazing. But also, like, how bad the voice is when there's a lot of other things that are good about this movie. The animation, like, definitely looks, like, really good for an Illumination movie. Like, it doesn't look like you're watching fucking Minions all over the town.
Dude, if you look at Bowser's render, this man has scales. He's got like going in. He's
like
there. Like
I saw that through like watching through a trailer that he has like all those minor details that really bring out his character.
Well, like even Luigi when he's getting his mustache when they're doing mustache torture, which side note, fantastic.
Yeah.
They're doing the mustache torture and they pull one single
strand.
And I'm like, there's that. All right, that is nuts. Let's. I'm so happy and like, dude, Donkey Kong.
Oh my god!
I gotta say this right now though. I swear, Donkey Kong stole Mario's ass. Because that man was cheeked up.
Yeah. He stole the ass. That's where it went.
It's that meme of the dogs, like after they get spayed and neutered. Where are my balls, Deborah?
Oh dear God.
Mario to the animators. Where's my ass?
No, but the trailer looks really good. Like everything about it just looks great. Honestly, I even love like the low level references to the games.
Yeah, it's fun. Like that little train. I like that the early levels are like from the original games are like his training levels. That they have to go through, and I think that's neat.
But yeah, I also I didn't notice that at first, but like I wasn't understanding what it was, but I think it's like training montage for Mario with the level things. Fun. And that's cool. It felt out of place at first, but I watched it again. Like, wait a minute, this is like actually Mario training for Bowser, because obviously he has no fucking experience for fighting Bowser. Yeah, right? Like, there's no reason this little fucking plumber is going to beat Bowser of the, that has a whole army that will destroy the world.
I don't think this is going to be a case of like, some of those movies where I think it's like Bug's Life, is like the one that started this, where they have the main characters pretend to be something they're not or whatever. Oh no, it actually wasn't Bug's Life because they never pretend to be something they're not. They're very clear on we're circus people.
Yeah.
But it's like that thing of just main character pretends to be X, Y, or Z for the rest of for like everyone else in the story. And here, I think it's pretty clear that Mario is not pretending to be this at all. He just wants to go get Luigi back, or at least that's part of it. Like that's part of it. And they're like, all right, let's train you up.
Yeah, that's really fun, and I like that Mario actually needs to get trained. And that obviously Peach is going to be like a major player for fighting Bowser because she actually has training for fighting Bowser.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's almost like she's a fucking princess that has authority and power over an entire fucking kingdom.
It's great, man. I can't wait. And dude, if I see her pull like a Mr. Saturn from the ground and throw it at Bowser, I may have like, or no, she pulls a bomb from the ground.
Oh yeah,
I am going to have flashbacks.
Like I don't understand like what some people's problems are with princesses actually having authority and power over things when the royalty.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It'll come down. I think the real test will be when they give us a Zelda movie at some point, and have Sheik. They have Sheik, and someone loses their mind when the twist is that Sheik was Zelda the whole time. It's like, can you imagine? Oh my god! If Geeks and Gamers does that, I will laugh so hard.
Look, Geeks and Gamers is doing something right since they get like 1 million views per video. So,
well, I don't know if we want to count exploiting the algorithm.
That's fair. They're exploiting the shit out of the algorithm.
That's like doing good marketing for every other movie, or just doing bad marketing for other movies. Did I hit the segue right?
I guess that's a good segue. Yeah, that's a perfect transition. I didn't even realize it until like a second later, but yeah. So bad marketing. So Strange World. All right.
Say what you have to say, because this goes into my tinfoil hat later.
Full disclosure, I haven't seen Strange World yet, but I've seen a singular trailer. Out of the entire time the movie has been in production, I have seen one trailer, and that is it. And I've actively followed the movie because I wasn't like too interested at first, but at the time I was like, okay, well I'm a little tired of animation right now. But now that like animation is so I know it's crazy, but like now I know it's so fucking ironic for me. But now that animation is like slowly dying out, I want more of it. I'm like, okay, I gotta follow up on Strange World now. And
I think this was like the biggest casualty of Chapek at Disney.
Oh yeah. And then last month I saw a second trailer. Ooh, spooky. Two trailers.
Dude, it dropped during the spooky month, like.
God, I blame Zaslav. I blame Zaslav for all this. Like,
it can all be traced back.
It really can, because like I've always said, Warner Brothers controls half of fucking animation, and that's not an exaggeration either. I'm pretty sure like Warner Brothers does. Like, they control Cartoon Network. They control like all these other animated IPs that are really infamous. So.
You know what's genuinely baffling to me, though, is, like, Chapek went out and said, animation, where, like, no parent wants to put their kids, wants to put animation on for kids before they go to bed. They want something with more substance, and yet he was part of the, like, crew that greenlit, like, the X-Men 97 revival, Marvel Zombies animated show, and then like Spider-Man freshman year. Granted, I don't know what the status on the rest of those are right now. I'm
afraid to know what the status of those are, honestly.
But like, it's just baffling that animation gets such a shit hand, because like I also only saw a couple trailers for Strange World, and I only saw it this weekend because my nephew was in town for Thanksgiving. Right. And we were like, all right, well, he's going back. This is a kid's movie, not really. This is a kid's movie. It's just, this looks, like something he would like.
Right.
And the target demographic definitely is younger kids, because I've seen the movie, right, and it definitely works. And so we took him there, and I was like, this was really fun. I really like this. Also, your boy Jake Gyllenhaal's in it, and definitely.
Motherfucking how did Jake Gyllenhaal get in such a movie that had zero marketing? Are you kidding me?
Okay, all right. Here it is. So, 20 years ago, a few days ago, 20 years ago, Treasure Planet came out.
Oh, dear God.
Another movie.
Oh, dear God, not this. I knew you were going to talk about this.
I am, because that movie is fantastic, and it deserves a re-release. But, Treasure Planet comes out 20 years ago. This is like an animated project that Musker and Clements, the directors, had been fighting for like years.
Yeah.
And they finally got to do it. And it utilized deep canvas at the time, which was like, it was kind of out of fashion. It was kind of going out of fashion because it was a different like tool. It's, you'll recognize it most prominently, or you actually may not recognize it because it's that good, from Tarzan. Whenever Tarzan's like sliding through the vines or everything,
Yeah,
those
yeah.
those vines are
I
all.
know what you're talking about because I did recently watch Tarzan. I want to say like 2 or 3 months back.
Yeah, so like all those vines that he swings or that he slides through are CGI stuff. Like that environment. That's pretty much what Deep Canvas is. It's like
Okay.
blending CGI with 2D.
Yeah.
And so that Treasure Planet did a lot of that too, but they ended up like Disney just pretty much was like, okay, we gave you guys your movie that you can make. We never promised that we would like market this thing or set it up to succeed. And so
Yeah.
they did crap marketing and basically marketed a completely different movie, and then also put it out against Harry Potter 1, which, like, if this was like from a company that wasn't trying to sabotage that movie, I would have said, I don't know who was in charge, but you need to fire them because they're stupid. But this person was very clearly smart about trying to kill that movie. And they just killed Treasure Planet by putting it up against Harry Potter 1.
Right,
So
and that's fucking sad, man. Like
it,
I still haven't had the opportunity to watch it yet. I was about thinking about it like like a week ago, but then I have like 3 different things I need to catch up on for
which
content
fair.
reasons. So, but I do know the story behind it, how it was their literal life's fucking work, and how it did horrible, and that's like legitimately sad.
It is, and it's even worse because the movie is genuinely fantastic. Like the story that goes through is really heartfelt. The world itself as well. Like the design philosophy they had was 70% like pirate and then 30% sci-fi. And so you end up with this really unique like steampunk blend of technology that is really cool. And then the Ethereum, the like space, because it's space pirates essentially.
Right.
The Ethereum is basically space, but if it was an ocean. And it's a really, really cool idea, and it's used really well. And it makes me cry that this movie didn't get like more attention, because the story itself too, following the main character, struggling with, becoming older and not having a father figure in his life, and then he meets this pirate this guy on this ship who turns out to be a pirate later on. They form a bond, and it's a really heartfelt father-son dynamic that changes him, and it's great. And that kind of goes through, like, if I had a nickel for every Disney animated movie about a familiar relationship being formed that breaks new ground and leaves the main characters, better off, I'd have 2, but that were killed by Disney purposefully, I'm pretty sure, for in the case of Strange World, because there's no way you weren't purposeful about this. I'd have 2 nickels, which I hate that it happened twice. I hate it. I'm not even going to say it's strange that it happened twice, because it's not. I just hate it.
So how does this connect to Strange World and your tinfoil hat?
It connects because it happened again where they put up Strange World against Knives Out Glass Onion, which also fantastic. And they put it out right after Wakanda Forever. So
yeah, you know what?
There was no way anyone was going to go see this movie instead of Wakanda Forever, because Marvel's dominated. Marvel just has the domination,
and obviously Disney fucking controls both Wakanda Forever and Strange World. So
and they marketed the shit out of Wakanda Forever.
Oh yeah, they definitely did. It's honestly insane.
So Strange World, I don't think it's as good as Treasure Planet, but I think it's actually very good. It has a very compelling story. The funny thing is, like, the one thing that makes me like the most upset about this is the fact that, all the chuds of the fandom menace who are like against the woke in quotes and all that, they're using Strange World's flop as like see, no one wants this, when in reality they're just ignoring the fact that it got no marketing, because that doesn't help the agenda. But like, it features by the way, this is like the 17th, I think, if we're counting. This is like the 17th movie Disney's put out where it features the first gay character. It's like, Disney.
No, this is the first gay teenage character.
Yeah,
ha 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 ho ho ho.
Right. It's like that meme from Jimmy Neutron where the teacher is just, Sheen, this is the 6th week in a row where you've done X as your show and tell. It's like, Disney, come on. And it sucks because this is actually, I think this was really good. I liked that character a lot. And there was a lot of moments, actually, where I was sitting there in the theaters like, are they going to make it really, are they going to take like the easy writing choice and like stir up drama between the family? Because just like very shallow reasons of you're coming out of the closet, but that's not what they do. He's already out, and it deals more with like family legacy. And there's a couple parallels that I saw that are very smartly placed that could come with that, where they use those parallels more of the son doesn't want to do, or the grandson doesn't want to do what his father does and wants to be his own person. And they have a moment where he's like, I don't really know you like this anymore. Like, you want to do this, right? You want to be what I am for a job. And he's like, no, I don't really want to do that. And they hit that kind of parallel, which I guess to each their own of how subtle that is. I noticed it, and I thought it was neat.
Right.
And it was one of those things later too, when the grandson has a scene with the grandfather, and the grandfather's like, "Oh, I know that look. You have a special someone at home. All right, well, come on, like tell me who it is, and what's going on." And the grandson's saying it, and for a second, I was sitting there going, "He's gonna say, oh, well, he's he's really nice and fun," and the grandfather's just gonna go, "He," and like narrow eyes look at him, but no, the grandfather just does something which I think is funnier, where he just gives kind of some toxic dating advice because he doesn't know any different. And it's like, what you gotta do is get your crush into a dangerous scenario that you can then save them from, and there you go, they'll be in love with you. And they're like, yeah, don't do that.
That's great. No, that's great. I love it when movies just completely just don't cause stupid bastardizing drama about someone like coming out the closet, because really, it's not that fucking, like, okay, if you're like a half decent person, it's not that fucking big a deal.
Yeah, and like a lot of it just comes to, it's the shock of hearing something you weren't expecting, really.
Right.
Right. Oh, and then how you react to it afterwards, because it's that first reaction is to any kind of like news that you're not expecting is always going to, you can't always control it because it's just a first reaction, and then you have to it depends on how you handle it afterwards as well, which I think they handle very well in the movie, and it's not like I was expecting to the whole time. I was like, this is a Disney movie it's an animated Disney movie from like post 2010. I was waiting for the Frozen like Hans twist, where out of nowhere, one of the characters who's been a friend to us the whole time becomes the villain. But it didn't happen. And I was like, oh, I love this.
Oh, Anna, if only somebody actually loved you.
Boo. Boo. Frozen sucks, man.
It does, but yeah, it's also kind of sad because, like, I haven't been able to see it yet, but like just from hearing about like what I've heard from it, it sounds like it's a lot of fun. It's not that bad a movie, and just Disney didn't want to market it for whatever reasons.
It's the two giant taboos. It's an animated movie, and then
it's an animated movie and it has gay. Yes, no, we can't have that in our Disney franchise. Nope. Doesn't get marketing.
Impossible, bro.
God, I hate it, man. Like, why do, like, it's so fucking crazy now with animation because they're trying to create this image, this bad image for animation. Like it shouldn't be seen by anyone that isn't and over the age of 5,
Yeah,
and that's why they don't like. That's why they're not either releasing things, or they're not marketing things.
Yeah, I just stop with this view.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's even
point,
the problem with Elemental too, because like really we've barely seen anything. It's been like announced for a while since like D23, I think.
I think it was just like I think they just showed off concept art really for it.
Yeah, concept art and then like a little teaser.
Yeah,
which I mean,
everyone
already fucking hates because apparently there's no lesbian couple. Which come on,
that was so funny.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love my lesbian couples in movies, but like, it's not like what type of relationship it is.
Yeah,
like
what
would
would
change. Like nothing would change other than like the viewer's experience. Like, cool, I get my gay lesbian couple now.
Well, and like it's also they're just the whole point is just fire and water. It seems like two opposites that should because the water boy touches the fire girl and then they do a whole and she gets hurt and it's like okay, so it would be that story but but lesbian, and so it wouldn't change anything. So I don't understand how we could say based on a teaser trailer that shows us next to nothing about the story or like what the movie's going to be about, like the tone, the story, like whatever it's going to be. It tells us next to nothing, and people are already, well, it would have been much better if it did XYZ things.
Exactly. Like, they already try to predict the entire fucking movie as if they've already seen it.
Well, I mean, I blame Marvel movies for that, for wrapping things up.
Oh dear God.
Mystery. But that's a whole other issue.
Oh, dude, I'm tired of talking about how comic book movies are Spider-Man 2 right now. That was an exhausting podcast for me.
I don't know what you mean by exhausting. I had a great time with that.
I had a great time, but it was exhausting just finally getting that out. I'm never talking about Spider-Man 2 again. Don't let me.
I sent that podcast to a couple of like other Discords I'm in, where it's like, you know, Spider-Man fans that love it and like they know I'm the resident hater too. So I sent it and they're like, "Oh, well, this was this was all right. This was a balanced discussion. Okay, okay." Because like that is the key too. If you're going into any of these discussions, if you want people to actually like listen to the points you're giving out, like don't come off as just unnecessarily hateful.
Exactly.
And like have a bit of fun with it, like because we were joking around, we were having fun.
We're not fucking EAP where we call people consumers if they like a movie.
Oh my God.
We'll talk about long bad videos in a later podcast because that's a whole discussion of its own. But anyways,
there, you can have a long video, and it could be good. It could also be bad, just like how a short video can be good or can be bad.
Right. But that's a whole other discussion for a later podcast I'm planning. But I think we're getting too off tangent. But anyways, I'm kind of sad about Strange World. And
I'll watch it. It's fun. I really liked it. I had a great time.
I'm definitely gonna watch it.
The world itself, like, it's fun. It's neat. It has a lot of cool. Elements to it.
We're exactly at the 40-minute mark, so I think this is a perfect time to talk about motherfucking Andor, baby.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, both the good stuff about it, which is everything, and the bad stuff about it, which is the fandom.
Well, yeah. Look, I know people like to meme on the whole, or it's become like people don't like it when they say Star Wars fans are like the worst part of Star Wars, but
this is a great fucking example of it. Like this is the perfect example of Star Wars fan being the worst of Star Wars.
Like it's like comic book fans on Twitter being the worst part of comic books. Like
yeah,
it's the same.
Because it's like after I finished Andor, I started thinking, okay, do I love this because I actually think it's good, or I'm just like loving it for like bias reasons? And I started thinking about every single thing that was wrong with it, and I really couldn't find a whole lot of things I didn't like about it. Like there wasn't, if anything, like the like my biggest complaint, which is really kind of a stretch, is that the first 3 episodes don't exactly do a good job at like enforcing like Cassian and like his personality and his character that
I think
well until like the 4th episode and further.
Yeah, I think like because that arc where they're getting ready for the heist
Yeah.
definitely is what shows more of his character, because he's with people that are like for the cause of
Right.
rebellion, and he's just like, I'm here for money because it
Yeah,
gets
exactly.
and
Like
they
he starts off
challenge.
as like wanting things just like for his own personal reasons, but then as the show goes on and we get to the heist and Nakrina 5, which holy shit, that arc is
Dude,
so
oh
fucking
god, I
good.
love that.
He realizes that, this is like bigger than himself. This is bigger than his own personal reasons, and this is something that could actually help the entire galaxy. Like it's something much
Yeah,
bigger than
and
himself.
it's also a case of like, I've seen some people saying like Andor is super complex with its themes and everything, but I'm like, it's really not very complex. There's a lot of very simple storytelling devices that are used in here. Like, I feel like the first 3 episodes probably could have been condensed down to 2, uh,
Yeah,
just
that's
because.
understandable.
Yeah, and like for pretty much the same reasons you gave before, and partially because that next arc is so good because it does it takes from the hero's journey a bit and puts the character in an unfamiliar location where, like, Cassian is used to on Ferrix. He's used to everyone pretty much thinking the same way he does,
Right.
and like it's a very like-minded area. He's comfortable there, because we even see that with how some people come up and they're like, "Hey, you owe me money," and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna threaten me with this guy? I know he's big. I know he's just a big teddy bear." Like, and
Yeah.
it's that comfort area, and then you take him out, and there's people that challenge him on his beliefs, that want to know more and like see where he
Right.
stands, and you
And
see
like
the
they're actually like more serious about like what's going on. Like they're not treating it as some big joke that Cassian sees it as on his
yeah,
planet. Like
yeah,
I think my one of my favorite scenes in that whole show was I think it was episode 4 or 5, I think, where it's the middle of the night. He they're having dinner and then he hands them like what was it, like a language for language learning languages or something, or learning codes, and then he just awkwardly stares at everyone like, can I eat my food? And then there's like,
yeah,
no, you eat that, and then you stay up all night doing this, like, and then he just like looks at everyone, not saying anything, like, oh shit, they're actually serious, like this isn't a joke.
yeah.
That's like so fucking good. That is a great hate acting scene.
And I think like that also is like what gets the ball rolling for him, is that heist, and seeing all of these people fully indebted to it and giving their life for it, and then that comes back to him later when he gets put into it. Like, it kind of goes back to, he doesn't really care too much about the injustices of the Empire because he hasn't really experienced them firsthand exactly,
Right.
because like he was taken away from Canary before all of that stuff happened by Marva, and then on Ferrix, it's shown to be like they're very lax on things, and like what I like about the way things go with like Premor and all that is they have that mentality of, let's not deal with anything, or like, let's not report this stuff, because if we get Imperial people coming over here, it's going to be headaches for us, and things are going to get harder, because like, we know the Empire is an asshole. If we
Yeah.
tell them exactly what's happening, like if we tell them lies of what's happening, we can do our business a lot easier and people won't be pissy.
Right.
And it's a very good like cause and effect of, the Empire shows up trying to quench rebellion in a system that really doesn't have much rebellion going on. They just are like, look, just let us do our like, just don't interfere too much in what we're doing, and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
And like, once they show up, that's when things really get cooking for Ferrix and Seeds of Rebellion. And that is that's what I really, really like, is like how overzealous Karn is, as well of, I want to enforce these rules. He inadvertently, like, Karn kind of inadvertently sets into motion later on the fact that the Death Star gets blown up. Like,
yeah, yeah.
He it all the way back, because if he doesn't go after Cassian heeds the advice of whatever his superior's name was, who was like, bro, let it go. Like, these were two officers that were doing something illegal that we shouldn't have been at, and if we report this to the Empire, or it gets reported, we're like, shit's gonna go down.
Exactly.
So, if Karn had just followed that part of the system, I don't think the Death Star would, at least, it would have taken a lot longer for things in the Death Star to get destroyed.
Right.
Because, Cassian is part of that rebellion crew later on that leads the mission to go get the plans. Everyone else was, against it. And that's what Andor does really well, too, is it, over the course of the series, it adds more to Cassian's character to make us believe, that this guy later on in Rogue One is willing to give up everything for the cause. Like, he's done things that he's not proud of, and we get to see a lot of those things that he's not too proud of, before his reluctance and everything to fight against the Empire. He wants to make up for it.
Right, and I think that's especially works when we get to Nakrina, which I'm gonna say now is probably the best thing to come out of Star Wars. That entire arc is by far one of, if not the best thing to come out of Star Wars, period. I put that right up there with the seeds of fucking Mandalore.
Oh, dude.
It is that good.
That prison, oh my god.
That prison, like, and it's so worse because, like, he even, like, Cassian even picks up later on that, hey, they are building something big, and they will kill hundreds of us just to keep our mouths shut. We need to do something now.
Which, what I love about the prison setup, too, is that it relies, it's kind of like, it kind of embodies the Empire itself, too, of they know that they're outnumbered, they have a bunch of precautions, and they rely heavily on their overreach. They don't, later on in the show, Cassian makes it a point of, like, they're not watching us. They know they've broken us, and they know they have that fear. Like, the sentences is a amazing way to hold all of these people.
Yeah.
So they don't go out, because they have that tiny little glimmer of hope that they will get out at some point. And then once they hit the end of their sentences, they'll just shuffle them off back down to another place.
Yeah, that's dude, like, the Empire is so fucked up. Like, the whole reason Cassian got imprisoned in the first place was because the Empire was a fucked up assholes.
He was just standing there.
Just standing there, and then the Stormtrooper comes up, like, are you a part of it? Like, what? What?
Part of what? Don't talk back to me, sir. I'm like, what the?
God, that's so funny, too. That's such a funny, dramatic, ironic scene that is played so well.
And what I like even more, too, is, like, after they get out and they come across those two fishermen who are just like, oh, you're escapees from that prison? Oh, yeah, fuck the Empire. We'll help you escape. I'm like,
It's like, dude, we don't fucking care. Dude, those guys are dicks.
Exactly.
That's so great, man. Like, I've said this for a while. The Empire has never been better. Like, this is the best iteration of the Empire entirely.
The Empire has never once felt threatening to me as a whole. It was just Darth Vader and then the Emperor.
Exactly. And then Tarkin, obviously.
Yeah. Like, I didn't fear the Empire. I feared Tarkin and Vader and the Death Star.
Right.
In Episode 4. In Episode 5, I didn't fear the Empire. I just feared Vader. Because dude got shit done. Episode 6. I didn't really fear the Empire again, because Palps and Vader were the ones that were up against it. And also, teddy bears destroyed the Emperor's best troops. Also, like, Rogue One and... Yeah, God, I hate it. Rogue One and Andor are, like, the first time where I feel the fear of the Empire. Where I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
guys,
crazy. I would also argue, like, to an extent, the Bad Batch, but they're more influential there than actually threatening. Like, they show, like, how
well,
they influence the galaxy
the
to do
Empire as
following
well.
them.
At that point, the Empire is still made of clone troopers, and the clones are just. I know I'm against the whole objective thing, but I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to break my code for this. The clones are just objectively better because they're cooler and they get to paint their armor and they kill a bunch of Jedi. They are badasses. The Empire ain't got shit on the clones, and that's why the Empire is kind of threatening in the Bad Batch because the clones are still there. Like, that's how it be. Oh, did I cut out, or did you cut out? Oh no.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, there you are.
My
Oh, my
dogs are
God.
going fucking insane right now. My dogs were going insane for a bit, but I'm having so many technical difficulty tonight. Anyways.
Hey, did you tell them you're about to record?
No, those are my dogs.
Oh, yeah, but still, did you tell them? Like, come on.
Yeah, I told my dogs. Yeah, sure. What were we saying, though?
I was saying that the clones are the reason why the Empire feels more threatening in Bad Batch.
Okay.
Objectively, the clones are just better. Like, that's how it works. I broke my rule against objectivity to say it right now. The clones are. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like, the clones definitely do play a big part in kind of everything. Like just the clones and with Clone Wars and the Empire. But yeah, I guess. Well, I mean, some part of those play into. I think there were a couple episodes in Bad Batch where, some like actual Imperial generals like played part in negotiating with what was it? Not Genosians.
Andoranians or whatever.
Yeah, whatever the race is
and the Twi'leks a little bit.
Yeah, they were like negotiating with them, like trying to just cut off the supply for clones entirely, saying we don't need these anymore. We can just supply our own by fucking slave trading. But anyways,
I'm gonna tell you right now, Tarkin, you big stupid for getting rid of the clones. you went from name brand sunglasses like Ray-Bans to the sunglasses you find in like a 7-Eleven.
But yeah, there's also what I did like about the Bad Batch is that like the depth of the Empire, like not just fear factor, but also like with the individual people. Like there was this one little clip where I was like, well, why do you do for the Empire? It's like, well, I got like food and family to take care of. I need this for the money. Which I like. I wish that they did more of that.
Yeah, and like that is just the fun part going through with Andor, seeing all these different things of like the different views on the Empire going through.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that. And I all right, we got to touch this too. Touch on this. Are you familiar with a good fellow YouTuber named Star Wars Theory?
I am.
So, okay. I'm going to say this right now. I understand anyone who says they didn't get into a show because they found it to be boring. I understand that not all slowly paced shows are for everyone.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that we're like the most intellectual people in the fucking world. Like, I don't want to say any political allegories with this show at all. But I will say that I prefer slower paced shows. I prefer those slow, small character moments that we get in TV shows that build up the characters and they connect them to the bigger story, making those characters feel important to the story. That's how I prefer my TV shows. But I understand that people don't necessarily want that.
Well, and also occasionally, I just want to see Jedi up on screen.
Exactly,
like fighting. Like that's cool too. I love that.
Yeah,
and so I understand anybody that says it's boring, and they just couldn't get into it. What really bakes my noodle is when someone goes, "Yeah, there's bricks and screws and Andor, and it doesn't feel like Star Wars to me." And I go, "Homie, I'm not gonna tell you what those huts in Tatooine and like the palaces and Naboo are made of,
and the lightsabers are made of."
Or the screws on the bottom of Anakin's lightsaber. Like, I'm not gonna point that stuff out to you. All right?
I don't,
Totally.
and I don't remember if that was like the big part about his argument about Andor. I don't remember if it was or if it
That
really
was just
was.
the one that everyone was like, "Bro, are you for real?"
Okay,
Because
okay.
like, because it's
It's
one of
such a
those things where
weird
you're like,
complaint.
yeah, it's like, why of all the things to get upset about? Because like the one I will say, the one that got me a little bit at the beginning, just like in the when the trailers were coming out, was I looked at some of the blasters and I looked at them and I was like, did they walk over to the studios that are making like Modern Warfare 2 and just pull an AK model out of there? Because it looks like there's a couple blasters that just look like modern guns just painted black.
But
And so I was like, all right, that's a little that feels a little cheap. But then once I got into the show, like once the show started playing and I was watching everything, did not notice. I was like, I did
yeah,
not.
it's like once everything gets moving, it's hard to really notice. It's like watching those anime movies and you notice like and people like screenshot like a frame of an animated thing that looks weird, but when you
Oh,
actually
you mean
watch the
like
scene
when?
Itself, it doesn't look weird at all. It looks
Oh yeah,
fine.
you mean like those screenshots of Flash standing under a bridge in No Way Home, and everyone going, "Look at how ugly this is," and I'm like, guys, that's like a
Yeah,
2 second scene in the movie.
exactly. it's like shots like that. But
Like
yeah, I
y'all are reaching for this one,
yeah,
but
but it's like I don't it's like when I'm looking at it like what the little details of things, I don't look for like necessarily how it looks to that level of degree if it like fits the universe or whatever. I look for if it fits like the story it's telling.
yeah, and like that because like Ferrix, the planet itself has a style to it as well. Aldani has a more rural vibe going for it, and so it also like it kind of plays into that. It kind of plays a bit more into the fact like these guns would look pretty much crappier than any other guns from the galaxy because they're from a planet that they're from a planet that doesn't have as much. It's a lot more rural, and so it's like this is the best that they could get to bring in, and that kind of stuff works. It makes it feel it puts you in there more, and it makes it harder for you to like get out, basically. And like it's a nice contrast too to like the Coruscant stuff where we go back and to be honest, dude, I was expecting to see Palpatine in that last episode, and I wouldn't have been mad. Like, I
Really?
I would have been happy to see Palpatine because this is a thing where it's like the cameo would make a lot of sense because it's dealing like they're on Coruscant. Mon Mothma is in the Senate dealing with all of these issues. It would make sense to see the head of the Senate to show up, and so
Yeah,
I
you
would
know
be
what, that's
mad.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You know what, that's also,
Like,
but also seeing the Death Star is even better because
oh, dude,
that's
that was
like what it
so
was. That's like you start to see the little pieces that they were building in Nakrina where and you get that moment of realization like, wait a minute, this is what the fuck they were
this.
building.
Yeah, and like it was such a haunting moment because also if you've seen Rogue One, you know what killed Cassian, and you're like, oh shit, he helped make that. And then
Yeah, it's
also,
crazy.
well, and then also, it mirrors the logo of the show as well. That final shot, and it's like it's just one of those things where it shows up, it's silent, you see the Death Star, and you just know, and it's
Yeah,
so haunting because the show did such a good job of making the Empire like feel threatening.
right.
It's such a great post credit scene.
Yeah, and also like one of the things they did good with actually building up is the actual rebellion itself because much like the Empire, the rebellion has never been like that big of a thing other than we're the good guys.
Yeah, it
Okay,
was always
cool.
very clear cut in the original trilogy of just yeah, we're the good guys, they're the bad guys. This is how it is.
Yeah.
Uh, and you just kind of accept it because the title crawl literally states in the first movie, "Hey, the Empire's evil,"
Yeah.
and so it's just that thing you accept. And now we get to see, like with Rogue One, we get to see that kind of side that you always had in the back of your head of like there has to be some kind of shady shit going on with these guys because they're going up against something that's really powerful. So you have to they have to have something going on. And then Rogue One, the first scene, one of the first scenes of Rogue One with Cassian's first scene is him shooting the informant in the alleyway so that he doesn't get captured and the Empire doesn't find out what they're doing, and so Cassian can escape. And it's just that thing where you're like, oh, okay, so this is the kind of movie we're going, all right, I like it.
Right. Yeah, and there's obviously a lot more depth with the rebellion here. They're planning to actually spark this idea up, and this idea to rebel against the Empire with all the different players in this twisted fucking game and there's a lot of scheming, basically. There's a lot of scheming with how they're going about this, even if it's not necessarily the quote unquote moral thing. But let's be honest, if you're going against something that is going to terrorize and or destroy planets, you're going to need to step some boundaries here and there.
Yeah, and I love how they set so much of motivations in place for that too. So it goes beyond just this is a super weapon that we're trying to destroy, because they don't know about it yet.
Yeah, they don't know. It's still in production. They just the only hints they ever got was in Nakrina, with only 2 fucking people survived. So there's no way they'll be able to tell anything about it.
I'm sure more of them got out. It's just kind of,
yeah.
Well, and also, even if they didn't get out, even if they didn't survive, they died happy being free.
What
was that quote again? Because my favorite one is "There's one way out," and
yeah, that was one of my favorite inspirational motivations throughout the whole scene, the whole show.
Yes, dude, the way Andy Serkis delivered that, and the fact that my boy was allowed to be an actor again. They didn't hide him behind a meh villain. They put him front and center, and I love it. And I know a lot of people won't know, some people won't be able to place where he's from because he does so much mocap stuff. Most people probably just recognize him from Black Panther, where he was Claw. But to see Andy Serkis in that role, that the most hype moment for me was the end of the second episode in the prison arc, or the second to last episode in the prison arc, where they walk away after they've found out that the whole floor on 2 got 100 men got zapped because they realized what was going on.
Fine.
And they walk away from the medic, and him and Andor and Cassian asks how many guards are in place on here, and Kino just responds with never more than, I think it was 6 or 3. No, it was never more than 3.
Yeah, it's a very small amount.
Yeah, because they know, they know, and I like too that it's very clear that they don't want to burn the entire floor because it's still useful labor. So
right.
if they can get everyone set up, and back in formation without having to kill them, it works.
Yeah.
And then but if they can't, they have the basically win button, and they also don't know that the floor gets shorted out. So when they try to do that, it's just instant. You're done. The water was in there. It doesn't work, and that's what allows them to get out. And I saw a thing that was really funny to me. It was just a criticism that I laughed so hard at, because the criticism was so underwater prison that was built around water gets shorted out by water. Well, that's dumb. I'm like, yes, because electronics are always made to be completely 100% waterproof on the inside when the outside is waterproof. Because that makes sense.
That's so stupid.
I don't get that one, because I'm like, if the water doesn't get in, you're good. That's what you make the outside. You
Yeah,
make so that the water
that's what
doesn't
the outside is for. That's what
Yeah,
walls are for. That's what fucking filtration systems are for. That's what things are for.
and like it's that other thing too of they don't expect they keep that little glimmer of hope in there for the people or for the prisoners that maybe you'll get out, and if you just do what you're supposed to, you'll get out and you'll be done.
Yeah.
And that's why that prison had stayed around for so long, and that's what works really well about it. And I love too that they like when Cassian says that like they're outnumbered and they know it, but that's why they have all of the that's why all of this stuff is in place. They know the guards know they're outnumbered,
Yeah.
but they don't really fear them because and they don't have like those security cameras and stuff in there because they have them wired in. They have them on that machine. And so when the prison riot starts going, all of the guards are just hiding.
Right. They're like completely freaking out because they did not plan for any of it to happen.
Exactly. And I love it.
Yeah, because they like the whole show, like from episode 1, like told us, hey, the Empire is maybe powerful, but they're completely full of themselves, and that's their like biggest weakness, and that's how they escaped Nakrina 5 in the first place, because they're so full of themselves that when things actually go wrong, they just run and hide. Like even in the security room for when doing the prison break, they just do everything they say. They don't try to fight it. They don't try to resist it. It's like, oh my god, wait, what? Okay. What's going on?
Yeah, we're all right. You have blasters, we don't. Okay.
They don't try to do anything smart, and that's great.
Yeah, because they know right off the bat these are prisoners who have been here for a long time. They will kill us because they like there was no bargaining with these guys in this scenario.
Right.
Like you either let them go or you die. And that's what makes that work so well.
And to top it all off, Kino's death. Well, okay, I wouldn't say death, but
I don't know if he dies, but that just
either Kino's death or Kino's re-imprisonment is sad. I actually like teared up a little bit.
I have never been more happy sad watching a show when I heard this man say, "I can't swim," because he's so happy to have been out. Like I think his line too is something like I'd rather fight to see one more day in the sun or something.
Yeah, well, okay, I was quoting off of Cassian actually, and that's like what inspired him.
Oh yeah, that was what inspired Kino, which amazing stuff, and
right,
like the entire every time in this show when the people fight back against the Empire, it shows how brittle their control actually is, where they have all of these giant basically win buttons that they could use, but the second that people actually fight up against them, those win buttons aren't exactly win buttons. Like it just crumbles.
Right. And
it's amazing. Like I love that final episode too.
Yeah, the Marvis with the Marvis speech.
Okay. Also, the news on that one, or initially she was going to say "fuck the Empire" in the speech, but Disney said no, which I will say is crap because I know fuck exists in Star Wars because R2 is constantly speaking in E.
Let's be honest, he always screams "fuck."
Dude, this man has the saltiest language.
Yeah,
in the entire series. Like I like to joke with my brother about there's a scene in The Force Awakens where Finn gives BB-8 a thumbs up, and BB-8 responds with the blowtorch coming out. My brother and I get into arguments all the time because my brother's like, "Oh, BB-8 flipping him off there," and I'm like, "No, that was R2. R2 would be flipping him off." Yes. Yeah, but that's BB-8. BB-8's is a little soy happy snowflake. Like. He's the good boy. R2 is the salty one.
I know, but seriously, okay. One of the biggest things: which speech do you who think is better, Marva Kinos or Luthans?
I honestly okay, I don't know if I could rate them as better than the other because they're all really powerful and work really well in the story where they go. I think of my favorites, Kino's is definitely the one I love the most. Partially because of how good the prison arc is, and just how well it sets up everything.
Yeah.
Later on is it builds even further off of the seeds of growth that were planted in the Aldani arc for Cassian, and it builds even further, and then it all culminates in that final just I know what I gotta do now. I want to, I have the spirit of rebellion in me. I haven't quite gotten it yet, which I'll get in, the next episode after, we've escaped. But it's there, and Kino's just one way out is so powerful.
Right, it's and, his acting, too, in that scene was amazing. And the way he said, if we fight half as hard as we worked, we will win this. That line was delivered so hard.
God, that whole arc goes so hard. And Lugen's speech is very cool, just in the sense of this is a guy that we've seen that is just, he will do anything and everything.
Yeah, he's already set himself up for death. He even said that he's burning for a son that he knows he'll never see.
He'll never see, yeah. He knows he's not coming out of this and alive, and he is going to do whatever he can to get ahead. And I really like that twist too with the Imperial officer, where you get to see which one it is, which of the ISB agents was on his payroll, or not payroll, but just was part of it.
Yeah,
because it's a twist that's oh shit. That guy, I did not notice that guy as much until this scene, and they don't even give you that. What some shows will do is they'll when there's a mole or whatever that's we'll figure out that is going to be revealed. A lot of times, right before the reveal, they'll put a lot more focus on it. Or if just in general, if a certain character is going to get a lot of attention or have a moment. That's going to be important. They'll just get a lot of attention before. It's that meme of when your favorite side character starts to get a lot of focus in the show, and you're just oh dear God, no, because something bad's about to happen.
Right.
But in this, they hit you with this guy was in the background the whole time. He may have had a couple lines before, but he was there, and he was privy to everything. And that's why they've stayed ahead so much.
Yeah, that's kind of an insane twist. But I'm gonna say a hot take. My favorite inspirational motivation speech is not A, B, or C. It's D. Nemec's Manifesto. Boom. There, did it.
Yeah, Nemec's Manifesto was pretty good. I loved hearing that throughout the episode.
Oh yeah, that dude.
That was kind of.
I would love to hear Nemec's podcasts.
I do too, man. He died too young.
He did. It's sad.
I need him. But he also, I think they interspersed it in the same episode that Marva's speech was, so you kind of got double teamed with it.
Right. And it's crazy. And I don't know if that's a complaint, but I would assume that people would complain about, there's too many speeches in this, or there's too much smart dialogue going on and not enough action.
Which there definitely was those complaints of there's just not enough some people were complaining that it doesn't feel like Star Wars, it just feels like sci-fi. And I'm it's science fantasy.
Star Wars is sci-fi. What?
Well, so there is a bit different. Star Wars is science fantasy, whereas there's science fiction, which it's basically Star Wars, Star Trek. Star Trek is science fiction, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay. No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, because Star Wars deals with space wizards, whereas
that's
Star Trek is no.
I mean, that's kind of a weird argument to me, because you still have all these vast different planets you're visiting. You still have these political statements you're making about the Empire and the Rebellion, which I mean, let's be honest, Star Wars has literally always been about politics. It's literally half of its fucking name.
Wars are inherently political. Like, you're never gonna get a war really that wasn't
Yeah,
started
and that's
for
also
some.
like the weirdest argument I saw from Star Wars here. Like everyone's complaining
Where's the
about bricks and
war?
like everyone's complaining about bricks and screws, and like that's fine. You can complain about that, pop off. But like my biggest thing was when he said that, there aren't any lights. Like Star Wars is all about lightsabers and the Force, but it doesn't need to have it. But that's all Star Wars is about. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, that's just confusing. It's like it doesn't need to, but it does. And I'm like,
But
what?
it's all I need. But that's all Star Wars is. I'm like,
Like it makes more sense, for a video game to have
yeah,
the lightsabers and stuff because who doesn't want to play like that's interactive. If
exactly.
I'm given the choice, I still don't understand people who do this in Star Wars: The Old Republic or KOTOR. If I'm given the choice between playing as a Jedi or like a smuggler, I'm picking the lightsaber every time, bro. Like,
Exactly.
I don't understand why you
Because
pick
lightsabers
the.
are built for interactive gameplay and toys and such. Like lightsabers are literally all you have to market with Star Wars.
Yeah, like
But
if I'm given the choice between a dude with basically the space equivalent of a gun, and then or a dude with a sword that can just cut through everything, I'm going with the sword that can cut through
exactly,
everything.
but
I can go play Call of Duty if I want to shoot a gun. Like,
right. And like the smart thing that Andor does, that they don't look at the marketing side of Star Wars. They don't appeal to everything that people will want to buy high when it comes to Star Wars. They're not appealing to lightsabers, or they're not appealing to lightsabers or Easter eggs or references or anything. They're actually like telling a good story that still works for the overall themes of Star Wars.
yeah, and like the other thing that this does too is it gives me a lot more hope for like shows like The Acolyte.
Oh yeah, because
Which
that's like set during the time where like
I
the
love
Sith were actually a big player in
it's
the
like I think
galaxy.
it's like at minimum 200 years before
It,
any other Star
if
Wars
I
stuff.
remember, it was 100 years before Phantom Menace.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, that's fine. But it's still like it's cool to see that kind of like I think the premise for it is it's like a mafia, like a game of mafia of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
who's the werewolf
right.
type deal. And I like that a lot for like a Star Wars premise because you got a bunch of you have a bunch of Force users and then there's an evil one in the mix. And
Yeah,
we don't know who it is, and I'm like, yes, please. Um, and that gives it like the show gives me hope for that because it's completely new cast of characters. Hopefully, nothing like like what I hope is we don't get. I hope for that we don't get to see Yoda, for it. I would
yeah.
much
I
rather.
don't think Yoda would even be alive during that time period. Well, he might be
He's
actually.
like he's 900 years old.
Okay, then yeah, he would. But
He would be alive, but what I hope is that it's like they go out to the outer rim on a mission or whatever, complete like new setting, kind of like how Andor was just new settings all around, save for like one familiar setting, which I think is perfectly fine. Of like, let's have a familiar setting to the audience that we go back to, and then completely new after this,
right.
which very exciting. And like I want to see that more that. And just let's have everyone suss each other out, be like super suspicious, going through who's the bad guy, and have a little fun with it. Because it's all new characters, and then we'll get our lightsaber stuff in there. We'll get our
Yeah,
lightsaber.
yeah.
And like that, I'm excited for. I just don't know, like going to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni's stuff with how well Andor did, and I'm gonna say right now, I don't want everything to be exactly like Andor
Right,
because
right.
that
Because
doesn't
obviously
work.
you need different genres for Star Wars that will work. Like,
Well, and not just that, like the style of Andor doesn't work for every kind of show. Like
right, right,
it doesn't, and it's not like like a slowly paced show. Not everything needs to be like a slowly paced methodical show. You can have shows that go like here's the pacing for it. It's going to be faster than normal. We're going action. Here we go. And like that's
right.
kind of what I like about Visions a little bit was every episode of Visions was a completely different style from the last one really. like, and they went nuts with it. They basically like
Yeah,
they
they
just
they did kind of like go off the wall with it.
I loved it. Like they handed the Star Wars license to a bunch of Japanese anime studios and were like, "Go nuts!" And that's how
Yeah.
we get the amazing umbrella lightsaber, which thank God, I love it
Yes.
so much. It is a thing that you look at it and you're like, "This doesn't make a lick of sense," but it looks really cool in the animation and it works really well. Because like as soon as it comes to fighting with the lightsabers, she drops the umbrella attachment and just goes in for a straight up duel. And I was
Yeah.
like, cool, this is awesome. I love it. And like the other one too, the duel in space, with the twins.
Oh, dude, that
I
duel was
love
fucking
that one.
crazy.
I
Oh,
love it.
so much
Like,
fun.
are they breathing
I don't
in
care if there's
space?
like 5 different blades onto one lightsaber. It's sick.
Oh yeah, and they're like, it's like, how are they breathing in space? Well, how did Jimmy Neutron breathe in space? Exactly.
Yeah,
Because
boom.
like, I love that explanation too. They start to do it, and then they just cut across it because the writers are like, "We're not gonna. I don't care. Like, I don't care about giving an explanation."
Yeah.
Uh,
And that's like
but
the best thing about Star Wars, that it's not just like one thing. It can be a fun action pace, like lightsaber battle. It can be a slower paced story with these deep themes and characters, or it could be a fucking short about Grogu.
yeah, which I like that one. That one was fun.
And it's like there's so many different genres you can tell with Star Wars, because Star Wars has such a very basic concept. It's a galaxy where people go to war.
Yeah,
You can
a
tell
galaxy
so much
far,
with it.
far
You can,
away, and there's
yeah,
space wizards.
yeah, you can tell. Like with Mandalorian, went for a Western type deal. You can go with Kenobi, where it was like more of a like self-realization story. Like you can tell so much different genres and story with it, that it. And the weird thing is that they don't use it enough.
Yeah, they don't experiment enough, because like the one thing I make clown on Snyder, but he was the guy that brought this up, where I'm waiting for our 7 samurai, like Star Wars story.
Right.
Get me 7 Jedi defending a town.
Right.
I don't care. Give
That's
me
kind of
that
how it
story.
was in like Vision's episode 1.
A little bit, yeah, and I loved that. And like we kind of got that a little bit in Tales of the Jedi with the first Count Dooku episode.
Oh yeah, I guess I forgot about talking about Tales of Jedi. Tales of Jedi is good but not great. Yeah, that's my review.
It was like the Count Dooku stuff was really good. The first Ahsoka episode, I was like, okay. It really didn't do much. It was just, oh, this is how they were like, she's Jedi. And I was like,
Look,
I could have been cut.
I have a weird thing with Ahsoka now. It's like I love Ahsoka, don't get me wrong. I will always love Ahsoka. She's my favorite character next to Darth Maul. But like I just think that she's getting overused now. Like I think with such a great premise with Tales of the Jedi, that's an anthology series that follows like the origins of Count Dooku and his descent as a Sith.
Dude, that was
You
so
could have
good.
you could have had parallels with so many other Jedi that could have easily worked a lot better than paralleling with Ahsoka, which I didn't think they did a terrific job with doing.
I think episodes 2 and 3 for Ahsoka were episode 2 is my favorite one.
Episode 2 is obviously perfect.
Like with Anakin training her.
Yeah.
For Ahsoka, like you have to focus. This is like the boys are not going to go easy on you, and they like go longer. Like you're getting better. Your time's getting better, and then that cut.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
Yeah, that cut to the end of Clone Wars, right before they're about to walk out. I was like, oh no, you didn't have to do that to me.
Nah, yeah. But it's like there's so many good things about Tales of the Jedi that works extremely well, but when it comes to actually working as really the first ever storytelling of Count Dooku's origin in film or TV show, it does a decent job, but I don't think they could have done so much more with it. Because there's such a big chunk missing between Dooku's second and third episode.
Yeah, I think we could have gotten more. And like Tales of the Jedi is kind of the same thing where it's in the same vein as What If, where I was like, I think it was too safe because
Yeah.
you have Tales of the Jedi and What If, and then you had like, oh, here's the premises, we're going like, well, I think the Count Dooku stuff was definitely better than like whatever anything What If did, and and better than Ahsoka's part of it. It wasn't crazy. I would
Right.
still say it was safe in what it did, but it was well done because they went around they went around the continuity of the movies in a very smart way, for the Count Dooku stuff, and
Right.
then the rest of it was just still safe. Whereas Visions is out here. We got Umbrella lightsaber. We got fighting in space. We got the Village Bride doing all this. We got the Ninth Jedi with like this Jedi Order group that turns out to be Sith, and and then they also have like this Jedi survivor of Order 66 gets in a band on Tatooine, and
That was
like,
that was probably my favorite episode. But I'm gonna say
I was so bewildered by that one, but I was like, they are owning it, and I can't blame them. And then that stuff, I like Visions was the right kind of we are experimenting, and then What If and Tales of the Jedi was rather safe.
Yeah.
What they were going for, and I'm like, you have the ability like at your fingertips to do whatever you want to do, but why? So why are you confining yourself to these other stories? Like, why are you confining yourself to the MCU movie
Right.
continuity of stuff of like, we're just gonna do very basic changes and see what's going on. And like, while I think they do while the more wacky ones were fun, it lost What If lost me after the zombie episode, because like I only watched that one because I only watched it because I knew Spider-Man was in there, and I was like, I'm gonna watch Spider-Man, because I'd already lost my interest really, because I think it's like the 5th episode, but I didn't.
I think it's the 4th actually.
Is it the 4th? Because I know
It's the 4th because 5th episode is with Ultron, and then 6th episode is the finale.
Oh, I thought there was 10 episodes.
Was it 10?
No, yeah, because
dude, okay, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I'm used to seeing only 6 episodes in Disney Plus TV shows, but yeah.
Yeah, because the first episode is Captain Carter. Then they did the Ant-Man Goes Nuts, or Hank Pym Goes Nuts. Then they did T'Challa as. Oh no, it was T'Challa was episode 2 as Star-Lord. Ant-Man Goes Nuts. Episode 4 was the Doctor Strange one, which I actually liked that one a lot because it went like more deep with the magic stuff of like, hey, here's a bunch of wacky stuff that the movies aren't going to touch on really because there's just too much to deal with there. So we're going to touch on it in the animation and go crazy. And I liked that. And then, zombies came up, and that one kind of just went too fast for me, where I was like, you have this premise, but you're not going to wrap it up in one episode as well. Like, that was the other big problem, was they have so many premises in What If that just don't get wrapped up in one episode, so it feels really incomplete.
Yeah.
And then, like, Visions, very concise. This is the episode. This is what's going to happen. Beginning, middle, end. Here you go. This is it.
Yeah.
And then, like, even in the Ninth Jedi one, where it, like, set up and the twins, where it set up it had the ending potentially could, like, you could go forward with other stories following these characters, but you didn't have to. Their story in this particular episode was complete.
Right.
And that was the big thing. And, like, for Tales of the Jedi, while it was, designed to be a 3-episode, this is, like, beginning, middle, and end. I think you could have, like, squashed these in together to be one long thing to watch, and just kind of, like, part 1, part 2, part 3 to give us that, okay, it's a separate thing. You still could have smashed these together, and you could have watched them all at once.
Yeah, I think it was definitely too safe. That's like my biggest complaint with like Count Dooku, because you have a thing that's like barely touched up on in Star Wars that really needs a lot more depth than, well, he fell to the dark side, so there you go. And that's kind of what they did. They showed off like his sense of justice and how that led him to the dark side, but I don't think they did it enough because they don't do much to contrast that with how other Jedi see it, and that's why I feel like you could have just used other, like, multiple Jedi in other episodes that weren't necessarily focused on Dooku, like with Quinn Lan or Sifo Dyas, because I'm pretty sure he was alive at the time, or like any of the other Jedi that weren't the main ones, to get a broader sense that this is what the Jedi Council believes in, and this is why it doesn't necessarily work with how Dooku sees how the Jedi should function and how they need to be more aggressive and to get that point across.
Yeah, and I just think if they had more for it, it would have been better.
Yeah,
I would have watched a whole series on Count Dooku.
Yeah, honestly, I would have just preferred that. I mean, I know they were going for the anthology type series, but I really would have just preferred the whole series be about Count Dooku. Because I feel like that's exactly what it needed, especially given the runtime of these episodes.
Which, like, okay, shorts, I get it. They're shorter. Which, actually, the episode length for these was, like, 15 minutes, I think.
All of it was... It varied, but it was all less than 20.
Yeah, which, like, that's longer than most shorts. So it's like, okay, so these are, like, mids.
Yeah.
Like, they're not shorts, but they're not...
They're mids.
Yeah, which, they're not mid, they're mids. Like, very, very distinctive difference.
Very.
But, yeah, like, I wish they start branching out and using the galaxy far, far away. Do stuff that's just completely disconnected, because
exactly.
One of the things I actually really liked, it was a very small detail in Solo. When they show up at the mine on what's the name of the planet in there? In the spice mines.
Dude, I haven't seen Solo in a while. I'm sorry.
Oh, all right. Well, when they show up on the planet, Kira starts spouting off just, titles and everything. And it was one of those things I was like, oh yeah, this is a galaxy far, far away. This galaxy is really big. In theory, you could just start spouting a bunch of titles that probably exist in the galaxy. And it's just that big that people would be like, okay, like, if you present yourself, I like confidently enough and, well dressed, to fit the part, what are they're not gonna believe you?
Yeah, right? Exactly. Like, there's so much that can work because, again, it's a galaxy far, far away. So you can do so much. They just use the galaxy instead of the same 5 different planets, which is a good thing about Andor, because we really get to see new parts of the galaxy and new parts of the Empire and everything else that fits so well into the known universe that we are already aware of, but it adds such depth behind the actual galaxy itself.
Oh yeah, and like the other thing I liked too about it was they didn't really bother too much with their like masks on their faces to hide their identities, because also it's a galaxy far, far away. It's huge. It's a galaxy. There's like the only reason that Andor is still like looked for is because it's localized to the few planets. Like when they brought him in to go to the prison, it didn't even like raise a flag that this was the guy that they were looking for over on Ferrix.
Right.
Like they had his face right there. They had to scan him in to get him in there, but the galaxy is so big that he could just make up a new name. This is who I am, and have the
and they'd have no fucking idea.
Yeah, I don't even think he would like need to have the credentials basically to prove who he is. He could just say, "No, I'm this." And what are they gonna do? Bring up his ID? And say, "Yeah, you're this guy, right?" It's like, no, that's not me. Do you have like a DNA of me to prove it is? Oh, then no, sorry, bro, it's not me. Like I saw a couple criticisms of like one of Mon Mothma's sister, Vel, was just walking around freely on Coruscant after doing the heist on Aldhani. And they're like, well, why is she walking around freely? That's dumb. She could get spotted. And I'm like, well, first off, she's walking around freely with a changed up appearance as well. Nobody's going to recognize her on Coruscant as, the person that did this heist. because she looks completely different over here as well. So there's nothing to trace her back to it. Like there's a way to trace back to Luthen from Cassian, because Luthen gave Cassian something of his that was personal.
Yeah.
And so that is something that they can trace back as like, okay, he owned this definitively. It was in his shop. And that was something they do really well. And Luthen even admits it. He's like, I got careless. They could trace it back to me because this was mine. And I liked it. I liked that a lot. But, yeah.
Yeah, and...
Try criticizing Andor, fools.
Exactly. Andor is so good at pretty much everything. Literally, Star Wars, it expands the known galaxy even further, where you really are expecting to see more of the galaxy now. Like you can't just pull out a banger like Andor and then have another show that just goes back to the same 5 different planets that use the same legacy characters. Tatooine. Yeah, we're back on Tatooine. Yeah, there's no sand in Andor too. There's no fucking sand, and I'm happy.
There is sand because he does go to the beach planet.
Oh yeah, the beach. But anyways,
it's not desert sand. It's beach sand. It's
beach
different.
sand. It's fine. It's fine. That's fine. I'm not bothered by it. But anyways, yeah, and that's why, like, despite all the clowning that Taika Waititi gets, who is still a great director, I'm excited for his Star Wars movie that he's planning because he has openly stated. I think it's still in development. I don't think they actually canceled it, but okay. I'm still excited to see it because he has openly stated, I'm not going to look towards the legacy things because it's a whole galaxy. Why would I stick to the same things that people are already used to?
Yeah, that does make me happy. I just hope, my hope is that it just doesn't turn out like Love and Thunder, because I know he's capable of doing good things. Like,
I blame Time Crunch. I blame Time Crunch Hunt.
Well, I also blame Taika just having a big ego for that one. Dude was bad mouthing his own VFX crew, and the thing that was really telling for me, at least, I don't know if he just has that big of an ego that he was tone deaf for it, or he just didn't care. But when he said no, most director cuts are bad, I was sitting there thinking, well, that's a weird thing to say about why you won't release a director's cut for this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I mean,
is your director's cut bad?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
We got the good version?
I still give Taika a benefit of the doubt because, obviously this was a time where the MCU was really time crunching everything, where it's like shitting everything out at once, where they don't, it's kind of like the thing with Kenobi too, where they don't give directors enough time to second guess themselves, and
they change things so drastically. With everything that's coming out about how Chapek was running things, and the I think it was the emphasis he put on this on Disney Plus as a streaming service, and change and the TV shows. It in the case of Kenobi, it rings real clear that this was a choice that they changed it big time because it was going to be a movie,
right?
And then it was stretched out into a TV show,
right. And yeah, it's like they don't. This was a terrible time with making things with Disney because they were basically content machines. It looks like they're getting better now at that, but they were basically content machines where they don't give these very talented directors like Taika or Deborah Chow with second guessing themselves and going back and revising things because they need to get the product out in this amount of time. So I'm a little more sparing on Love and Thunder and Kenobi because of that fact.
Yeah, and I get it. And while Iger was definitely responsible for the lack of direction in the sequel trilogy because he wanted that to come out. It's been reported, at least this is how it's been reported. So the real details may be actually different. What's been reported is that Iger was the one that pushed for The Force Awakens to come out in 2015 and then to have the rest of the movies come out very specific times afterwards. Right. So it could a lot of what people hold against the sequel trilogy is definitely on Iger's shoulders, but he's also the guy that was there and helped get basically was also responsible for the MCU in its heyday, of the at least the MCU at its peak.
Yeah.
And so it's like I'll take him over Bob Chapek, who under his rule said animation sucks. Phase 4 hasn't been as quality, and all of the Disney Plus TV shows have been, save for some diamonds in the rough, have been pretty yish.
It's okay. I'm pretty sure he got kicked out after that animation fiasco.
That was quick.
That was fast.
That was like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, Disney's in trouble because they just dropped him in the middle of the night. I'm like, nah, this was happening for a while. They just dropped him as soon as they hit a point where they're like, all right, we can actually, like, legally, we could probably do this now.
Yeah, but I think that's a good time to end it here because it's getting kind of late for me. But
for
overall, go nuts with your things. Go nuts with your animation and marketing. Go nuts with your Star Wars galaxies, and we'll see y'all later. Yep. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know if every future content releases. Also, I have like multiple different channels now, so if you want to check that out, go ahead. True. I need the engagement, please. So
quick. Before everyone goes, if you have Disney Plus and you want to watch cool animation stuff, I don't know how I missed this show, but go watch X-Men Evolution. It's great.
Yeah, go watch that too. All right, bye.
Bye, everybody.